Good Shabbos. Come on in, find a seat, get comfortable. I'm Rabbi Silvers, along with Campus Stephanie Shore. It's our pleasure to be here with everybody this morning to share in this Shabbat and to share in the joy as Brandon is called to the Torah as Bar Mitzvah this morning. So, in order to participate, you will need a prayer book. It's the smaller of the two blue books. This one, it's located in the rack underneath your seat. You can grab one of those. Additionally, throughout the service, we'll go between this book and the larger blue Torah books, the Chumashim, which are in the racks at the seat in front of you. So as we go between both these books, I'll ask you just to treat them in a manner befitting the Holy Book. If you see one on the floor, please do pick it up or ask someone to do so. And additionally, lastly, if you have cell phones, now's a good time to turn them off, put them into silent mode of operation. We maintain the sanctity and the decorum of our worship in the congregation, so especially for all of our young people here today, our teens, we don't text, we don't talk, we don't use our phones during our services. The ushers may come over to you and ask you kindly to put them away. Now's a good time to do so. And please, no photographs from the sanctuary either. There's some professionals up in the balcony where they go completely unnoticed that are going to do that this morning. So I ask you to focus rather than a camera, focus your eyes, your hearts, your souls upon Brandon and what's happening here in the sanctuary as we rejoice with him as he's called the Torah as Bar Mitzvah. So, Cantor's going to help us get into that Shabbat spirit with a little music, the best way to do so. Before we begin our formal service, it's my pleasure to invite Stacy and Adam forward. They've got a special presentation they're going to make for Brandon this morning on this occasion.
On this Shabbat, we rejoice in your coming of age in our tradition. As a symbol of your entrance as a responsible member into the adult Jewish community, it is our honor to present you with this tallit. Your grandfather, Papi, went to Israel a couple of years ago, and he bought cousin Zachary and you each a tallit, and bought it down for the purpose of your and Zachary's wedding. Our tradition teaches us to put tzitzit, hinges on corners of our garments in every generation as reminders to observe all of God's commandments. Now, as a Bar Mitzvah, the child of the commandments, you are ready to make moral choices, to grow emotionally and intellectually, and to take responsibility for the Mitzvah and your decisions. Be holy unto your God, bring blessing to our world, and may you bring to the household of Israel the same pride and joy, not less, that you bring to us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'kitatei v'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who follows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes.
Okay, wonderful. So, Brandon, before you wrap yourselves in those fringes, Mom and Dad have this beautiful tallis. And you're going to notice at the top of the tallis, there's a neckband, or in Hebrew it's called Haftorah. Literally means crown. You notice on this neckband there's two crowns on either end. The crown which sits on the head, this tells you which side of the tallis is up. And the tradition is after you recite that blessing, which is also here, you kiss each end of the tallit. Then Mom and Dad will put that on you. Here, turn around. It's a little easier. Or lift it up over. That's fine. Yeah, and now, Brandon, it's our custom here in our congregation to kiss the tallis as a sign of love and respect to our Judaism and its traditions and commandments. And now you kiss Mom and Dad as well. There you go. And together we thank God who enables us to be here and celebrate with Brandon and all the family. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechninan v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Praise you, eternal God, who has kept us in life, sustained us, enabling us to reach this most joyous occasion. And we should all say, Amen. All right, Stacy, Adam, thank you. Here, take his book so you can hold on to that. He doesn't need that for now. And we're going to turn now in the prayer books to page 74. And there on page 74 from the morning preliminary service, we have this reading. Ma tohu halecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. There in the middle of the page, let's read together in English. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. I, for your abundant love, enter your house. I bow down in awe at your holy temple. Adonai, I love your temple abode, the dwelling place of your glory. I will humbly bow down low before Adonai, my Maker. As for me, may my prayer come to you, Adonai, at a favorable time. O God, in your abundant faithfulness, answer me with your sure deliverance. And indeed, this is a favorable time to lift our voices in prayer and in praise to God. So let's turn to page 106 as we join together in the chanting of the Chatzikash.
Yikada, Yikada, Shmei Rabba, Be'alma, Dibrachirute, Be'amlet Makute, Be'chayekom, V'yomecha, U'chayeviko, Beit Yisrael, Ba'agava, Ba'agava, U'bizman Hari, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba, Mevorach, Le'alma, Lo'men Omaya, Yitvarach, V'yishabach, Yitvar, V'Abraham, V'Naseh, V'Tadar, V'Taleh, V'Talah, Shemini Kushad, B'Rihu, Le'olam, Mikol Birkata, B'Shirata, Tushbekata, V'Ne'emata, Damim, Rame'ama, V'Imru, Amen.
On page 108, the formal call to our morning, our Shacharit service, the Baruch Hu. Let's all rise.
Baruch Hu Adonai Haftorah, Baruch Adonai Haftorah, Elolam Habayim.
Please be seated, and let's turn to page 110. And there at the bottom of the page, let's join together in English. Praise are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created, may they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. Varabav Tanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemlet Gdolah V'Tirata Malta Aleinu. How deeply you've loved us, eternal God, bracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our ancestors, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, we pray, O God, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. Have mercy upon us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah.
V'ha'evreinu b'toratecha, v'da'at b'kleveinu mitzvotecha, v'yached ואהבה יוירה את שמך,
ולא נבוש, ולא ניכלם, ולא ניכשל, לעולם ועד. ולא נבוש, ולא ניכלם, ולא ניכשל, לעולם ועד.
כי בשם קודשך הגדול הנורא בתרנו, נגילה בזמנך, נגילה בזמנך בשורתך.
And at the bottom of page 112, the bottom paragraph, let's join together. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land.
For
You, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people, Israel, in love. Baruch atah Adonai, aboker v'yavo Yisrael, v'yahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
And let's turn to page 116, and there at the top of the page, our Mitzvah helps lead us all together in the chanting of the Haftorah.
ואהבת את Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בה בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לראות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, וכיתת קידושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Our ancestors should have been redeemed that quickly. How many here were supposed to be here for about, was it 6 weeks ago or so? 7 weeks ago? 7 weeks ago. Okay. So, we know that even though this week is Shabbat Lech Lecha, we're already learning about Abraham going forth to a new land. Nonetheless, today we're taking a journey back to the book of Deuteronomy. Back to the time our Israelite ancestors, well, I guess depending upon your perspective, well, either well after Abraham or before we started Torah all over again, when our ancestors were wandering in the desert, in the wilderness, and Moses was speaking to them, sharing with them prior to his ultimate demise, his death, and passing on the baton of leadership to Joshua and helping our ancestors understand what was going to be required of them in this new land. So, today we're going to revisit Deuteronomy in the portion of Kitavo and learn how the giving of, as Moses explains, if you will, now, in this particular portion that Randy will chant and teach us today, the Ten Commandments of Torah has already been given, but once again, Moses explains to the people what all this is about, what's in the Torah, what are their requirements, what does God demand of them. And it's the following of laws, rules, mitzvahs, the commandments, that will assure them of their ultimate existence and survival in the promised land. So, every Shabbos, we read the prayer books of the miraculous redemption that God provided our ancestors, that they could ultimately survive, not just the wilderness for 40 years, but ultimately the gift that God gave them, the Torah and Ten Commandments, is what will keep them safe, prosper, and succeed in the promised land. Indeed, that's a gift worth celebrating, as our ancestors celebrated not only their freedom from Egypt, but the gift of Torah. We turn in our prayer books to page 122. And we celebrate the God who has freed us and redeemed us, our ancestors, and continues to provide blessing for us even in our life today. Page 122, let's join together in the chanting of Mi Kamocha.
Mi kamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'er hakodesh. Nora tekilo, o sefele, nora tekilo, o sefele. Adonai.
שירה חדשה שבקבוק יהודים לשמחה שפת הים יחד כל העבודו והם נלכו ואמרו
Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ובדגל ממך יהודה בישראל אוהלינו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גר ישראל.
Amen. We reach the central prayer of our morning service. It is the central prayer of all three of the daily worship services in Judaism: the morning Shachrit service, the afternoon Mincha service, and the Marif, the evening service. Our ancient rabbis simply refer to it as Hatfilah, the prayer, because it is considered the prayer par suprema of our liturgy, of our worship. It's also known in our tradition as the Amidah, the standing prayer. When Jews recite this wherever they are, all over the world, they stand together in solidarity. They stand together, turned toward Yerushalayim, our eternal and holy city. So, on page 124, I'm going to invite everyone to kindly rise as we prepare together for the prayer.
Adonai sifata titach ufiyad kitakilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagidol, Hagibor, V'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Ima'ot, Umevigu La'Lifnei Bneihem, L'Ma'an Shmo V'Yahava, Melech Otzer U'Mashiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, V'Ezrat Satah, Atah Gibor Le'Lamanai, Nechayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Oshia, Mashiach Baruch Ha'U'Morid HaGashem, Mechachei Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim. So Mechnoflim Derofei Holim, U'Matir Asarim, U'Mekayim Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Mi Kamocha Ba'Guvuru, U'Midom Elach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmieh Yeshua, V'Ne'eman Tzalech HaChayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
Because
pages 132 through 142 with the remaining parts of the Tefillah prayer. Offering these or any other prayers your heart may prompt. Just a note, each page is a double-page spread. The right side or even numbered pages are the more traditional prayers in the Hebrew and English. The odd page numbers, the left side, a little more interpretive prayer in English of the same. You can choose one side or the other, not necessarily both. And when you conclude, please once again be seated. pray for those blessings of peace that bring in the heavenly heights to descend upon us, Israel, and the world. We pray for the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart. May it be acceptable unto you, O God, our rock and our redeemer. Let's all say amen. We turn now in our prayer books to page 244 for Sefer Hotza'at V'Kriyat Torah. The service now for taking forth and the reading of the Torah, page 244.
Ein kamocha ba'elokim Adonai, ve'ein kama'asecha, malchutecha, malchut kol olamim, u'neshachpecha b'chol dar ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imo ve'olam varech, Adonai oz ve'olam yitain, Adonai yivarech v'kavod v'shalom.
Let's all rise and invite Rachel and Zachary to come forward to opening our doors. Adam, Stacy, Rachel, come join us at the Ark. And grandparents, please honor us with your presence as we will pass the Torah down through the generations of the family today to Brandon as we continue with our service for taking forth the Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai. Usara li Hoshua v'Hoshua l'skenim l'skenim l'neviim v'saru ha'la'anshe knesset ha'gedolah. Our tradition teaches that Moses received the Torah at Sinai. He passed it on to Joshua. Joshua passed it on to the elders. The elders passed it on to the prophets. The prophets passed it on to the men of the great assembly. Those were the rabbis. Brandon, the Torah comes down to us from each generation. Previous generation before us. This is your family line right here. And if you will, I always say, it goes all the way back, literally, to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses, our greatest teacher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk the Torah path on everybody here, the grandparents here, and you can touch and kiss the Torah, and we will pass this Torah, this gift of our law and our tradition, down to Brandon this morning. Rachel, you want to kiss it? It'll come to you next after Brandon. Good shoulder. Yeah, for sure. He's got it. So now that you've got it, Brandon, also get this. This is a teaching that comes from the Torah, from the book of Deuteronomy, where we're going to learn today. Remember the days of old, ponder the years of each generation. Ask your parents, they will inform you. Your elders, they will tell you. Keep faithfully all the words of this Torah. It is not an empty teaching, it is your very life. In this scroll is the secret of our people's lives from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo. כי אור בשמיים ובארץ, לאדוני הממלכה, וחמיד נעשה לכל ראש.
Please be seated. All right. So for this part of the service, we can set aside the prayer books for a little while. You can return that back to the racks under your seat, or exchange it at the racks at the backs of the seat with the large blue Torah books. One of these, okay? And we'll get to this in a moment. But right now, Brandon is going to help share a little bit some teaching that comes from the Torah portion this morning. I'm going to ask you to give him your kind attention. As we begin this part of the service, the study of Torah, we offer this blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign universe, who makes us holy with the mitzvot, commanding us to busy ourselves, to engage in words of Torah, and we all say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Dvar Torah will summarize in English what my Torah portion is about. This Shabbat we read from the Sidra Kitavo, which comes from the book of Deuteronomy. This portion talks about the Israelites entering Israel for the first time. Moses is not going with his people, but God is telling Moses what the people need to do to obey the laws. God tells Moses they're going to have many blessings if they follow the commandments of the Torah. But if they don't follow the commandments, there will be even more curses. Adonai, their God, also tells of the Israelites that if they follow his commandments, he will keep them valued above all the other people of the world. Moses said if the Jews follow Adonai's rules, there will be many blessings of riches, security, and peace. Moses mainly offered material things, but we know that life's blessings are more than material, including health, family, friendship, and love. The Torah doesn't talk about these blessings of spirituality, only material blessings. When I was studying my Torah portion, I noticed that it mentions more curses than blessings. Why did Moses focus on more negative consequences than positive? I believe that Moses spoke to the Israelites like they were his children. It reminds me of how a parent more often shares the negative consequences of what can happen if your children don't obey the rules. Children more often respond to negative consequences than positive, like when deciding to touch a hot stove. All in all, my Torah portion discusses blessings, curses, consequences, and choices in life. Hebrew school has done the same for me. I've learned how to be kind and to have a sense of fulfillment for being a good person. I try to follow the Mitzvah commandment of refraining from lashon hara, or speaking gossip or slander. I've learned to be accepting of people no matter what religion or gender they are, or the way they look. On this earth, we are all equal. I volunteer at a senior facility home called Allegra. This gives me the spirituality of helping others, which brings me great joy. Some of the residents even came today to see me become a bar mitzvah, and I want to thank them so much for supporting me today. I also want to thank Sherry, Allegra's director, for allowing me to volunteer and for bringing the residents here today. You made this day more special to me. As you all have noticed, there's an empty seat on the bima with the tallit around it. I chose to share becoming a bar mitzvah with Ben Sion Lichter, who was 1 year old when he died in the Holocaust. He was born in 1940 and lived in Odessa, Ukraine with his parents. This seat and tallis are in remembrance and honor of him. Sharing this day with him makes me happy to be doing something for someone else who never had a chance to become a bar mitzvah. I would like to thank my parents for encouraging me and always being there for me. I also want to thank you all for being here today to share this special day with me. Most of all, I want to thank Congregation B'nai Israel for giving me the foundation of my Jewish studies. I couldn't have prepared for this day without my tutor, Neil Marcus, Rabbi Silvers, Cantor Short, and of course all of my Hebrew and Judaic teachers. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Very nice, Brandon. I'll switch with you. You take your Torah book, have a seat with Cantor for a few moments. So, Brandon's helped us get through this part of the service at warp speed today. And I caught the warp speed. So I thank you for that because he gives me more time to share with you and teach with you about today's Torah portion. Thank you, Brandon. There's always upsides to these things, see? So I too just want to take just a couple moments and share a little bit about this Torah portion in a way to be interactive with everybody. So let me ask you a question to begin with. Define for me, tell me, what's a contract? What's a contract? In your own words, just raise your hand. Yes, Eric. An agreement, okay. What's that? A binding agreement. Very good. Even modified it. A good adjective. A binding agreement. Okay. What else is a contract besides a binding agreement, Rachel? Okay. You sign it. It's like you make a promise. Okay. An agreement, a promise. Okay. And when we talk about contracts, the good Hebrew word, or I don't want to say Hebrew word. The Hebrew word we might use is brit. Okay? People may be understanding brit, or if I use the Yiddish, or the very Ashkenazi pronunciation, bris. Right? What's a bris? Literally the word bris, or brit, means, the English word, very Jewish, is covenant. Covenant. So, that's what a contract is. It's a covenant, it's a promise, it's an agreement, it's a binding agreement. Do they ever need to be renewed or updated? Do contracts ever need to be renewed or updated? Eric is giving me this. Yes. Why? Why do they need to be renewed or updated? Things change. And people change. Right. Exactly. People change, things change, times change. Okay? Give you an example. Okay. I don't want to point anybody's age out. Let's say you were born before 1960. There's some of us here, right? There's a few of us here. Okay? If you were born before 1960, okay, I'll give you this. Who remembers black and white TV? Okay. What are you raising your hand for? You're probably, what, 14? There's never been black and white TV in your life. Oh, YouTube. Back in the 50s, who knew of YouTube? Okay? Things change. Times change. Okay? If you were born before the 60s, anybody ever have a cell phone? No. Okay? You were locked into this phone cord as far as it would go. Okay? The big accomplishment back then was to have these really long cords that you could take the phone from the kitchen into the family room. Times change. Okay? Things need to be renewed and updated. So, can you think in Judaism, is there a covenant we have in Judaism? What's our covenant in Judaism? What's the covenant? What's the contract we have in Judaism with God? Show me the contract. Where's the contract? Rachel, what's the contract? The Torah. Exactly right. There it is, the written contract, all rolled up on that scroll. That's our contract with God. Does that need to be updated? No. Has it ever been updated? Yes. Wait, Rachel, I might put you on the spot. In the Christian world, they believe it needed updating. In the Christian world, they have a New Testament, which they believe supersedes this, what they'll consider the Old Testament. But do we believe as Jews that it needs to be updated? Well, let me share with you something from today's Torah portion that Brandon will chant. If we look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 69, now I gotta find a page for you, hold on, 2869 is on page 1528. 1528. So let me go back, and I bet everybody knows this history, and I just helped give you some hints when we took out the Torah. When was this covenant, Torah, created with the Jewish people? According to our tradition, when was it created? When did we become partners with God in this covenant of Torah? When was the Torah, according to our tradition, given to us? At Mount Sinai, when Moses went up and brought it down to the people as they wandered in the desert. That's when we got the contract. Okay? So now, here, if we're looking at page 1528, look at verse 69. These are the terms of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to conclude with the Israelites in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant which he, God, had made with them at Horeb. Horeb, another name in the Bible for Sinai. So what's this verse telling us? There's another covenant. These are the terms of the covenant which God commands Moses to conclude with the Israelites here in the land of Moab. They're wandering about, they're in the land of Moab. In addition to the covenant God made with us at Sinai. Whoa, look, we got another covenant. Wow. There was a great rabbi in the 19th century, Rabbi Naftali Yehuda, Berlin, known by the acronym of his name, the Netziv in Poland. He wrote a commentary on the Torah called Dvar. And he asks a simple yet obvious question. Why did God have to make a second covenant with the people of Israel in the land of Moab? Didn't the Sinai covenant, the covenant we got at Mount Sinai, the Torah, with all its majesty and spiritual transcendence, didn't that covenant suffice? Wasn't that enough? Well, then he suggests an answer. He says each covenant had its own purpose. The covenant at Sinai, in Mount Sinai, when Moses brought the Torah down to us, was so that we could study the Torah. We could learn the laws of the Torah and become familiar with its content. The covenant, however, at this time, during their wandering in the desert, before they're about to enter into the promised land, this covenant at Moab was for another reason. The Netziv says it was to renew the Torah. Okay, times change, things change. Our ancestors have been out in the desert, wandering now for 40 years. It's time to renew the Torah. It's time to expand its teaching, to apply its laws to new modern conditions, to find new applications for the old laws and the customs. Only by renewing the Torah would those people who are about to enter the land understand it, practice it, and make it relevant to all of them. We in the Reform Jewish world, we believe in constantly reforming what we practice and observe in Judaism. We believe Torah, for it to be, no one's changing the terms of the covenant, but we're renewing it. We're finding ways to reinterpret it to fit a day and age where we've got Rabbi Google, and we've got cell phones, and we have, you know what that is? Exactly, lights. Somebody know. Clap on, clap off. Am I turning on lights by doing, if I'm in the Orthodox world, I walk into my house, because I don't drive on Shabbos, and I go, oh, honey, I love you. I love your cooking. But, oh, look, the TV goes on, and I can watch my favorite college football game on Saturday. Honey, I love your lunch. And on goes the TV. Okay? Things change, right? We modify, we adapt, we renew in order to make it relevant. That's something that didn't exist for those of us growing up in the 50s and 60s or before. But the idea in Reform Judaism is how do we constantly take this original covenant and document and constantly make it relevant to us living today. So that's why, and again, when people sit there and go, oh, Reform Judaism isn't authentic, not real, Torah is telling us, at Moab, God renews a covenant. God makes a reform to the first covenant to make it applicable. And then in the 19th century, we got the Netziv tell us exactly the same thing. We have to renew the covenant. We have to make it meaningful for us in our day. And so do we continue to do so here in this, the 21st century. So, when people tell you that the laws are the laws and you can't change it, not so sure. Something we should consider. All right, good Shabbos. So, Brandon's going to chant, and I'll tell you what page so you can follow along as he chants this morning. Okay, 15, what is it, Brandon? 1522. I'm telling you, I could have stayed home today. Okay, there you go, 1522, right there at verse 1. That's what Brandon's going to chant for us from the Torah this morning. And you can all follow along. And let me get it all set up here for everybody. Let's change out. Brandon, we made this back in 4th grade? 4th grade. So Brandon has made his own yacht. So do you want to tell everybody what this is? Don't, right there.
A yod symbolizes a hand, as if instead of using a hand to read from the Torah, you use a yod.
Yeah, you follow the words, you point using this. So it's a pretty, number one, it's not that you can't touch the scroll. I did. Nothing happened. No lightning. Good. But you want the Torah scroll to remain kosher for as long as possible. And as if you were to continue to use your own hand and touch the scroll, the oils from your own hand would get on the scroll, and slowly the letters that a scribe writes would start to fade or scratch off. So this helps protect the scroll. And this also, not only, there's a symbolism to this as well, Brian. Not only our 4th grade students make this in class so they can have their own yod and mark this special occasion by using it, but not only does it point at words in Torah, it points to the lessons and the way in which we should live our life. So that's for you. I hope it always points a good direction for you in life. And let's see, we'll do this for the people coming up. And we'll unroll this, put this in front of you. And the first honor this morning is going to go to Marvin, grandfather. Yamod, Mayor Theo Ben Mendel, Dvar Torah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan Torah saves v'hayei elonu v'tabas laheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
V'haya yishmo tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha lishmor la'asot et kol mitzvotav asher anochi mitzavecha hayom u'mitzvatecha Adonai Elohecha elyon al kol b'yei ha'aretz uva u'alecha kol habrachot ha'elet v'yisiducha ki tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha Baruch atah ba'ir v'baruch atah b'sadeh.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan Torah saves v'hayei elonu v'tabas laheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. The next honor goes to Doris and to Jack, Brandon's other grandparents. Yamdu, Dvar Bat, Feivel, Berachel, Yaakov, Ben Abraham, V'Chanalel, Torah.
Baruch Adonai et Baruch.
Baruch
Baruch et Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'harbanu mikol ha'amin. V'natanonu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah.
Amen.
Baruch Uvrivinecha, Ufriamantecha, Ufrivihentecha, Shigar Balatecha, Bashurat Sonecha, Baruch Tonaka, Umishartecha, Baruch Atah Behoecha, Baruch Atah Betsetecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam notah v'chalkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. The next honor goes to Susan and Alan. Ya'amdu, Simcha Bat Shmuel B'Mashav, Abraham Ben Meir Field Rezel, Dvar Torah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'harbanu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Yitain Adonai, Elohecha hakamim alecha, nigafim lefanecha, v'derechecha yitzu elecha, uvshivat dirachim yamyusu lefanecha, yitzaf Adonai echa echabracha, v'asamecha, uvkol mishlach yadecha, uv'erachecha ba'aretz, asher Adonai Elohecha notein Ikemecha Adonai lo le'am kadosh asher yishbach, ki tishma o mitzvot Adonai Elohecha, v'chalachta v'bracha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notah v'chalkeinu. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
The next honor goes to Marina and Scott. Yamot Yisrael Chaim Ben Yaakov Ben Dvar Torah.
Baruch et Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'ra'u kol amei ha'aretz ki shem Adonai nikra alecha v'ra'u mimecha v'hutircha Adonai l'tova be free v'necha be free v'netecha be free admatecha al ha'adama asher nishba Adonai avotecha v'atetzla yiftach Adonai lecha et otzaro ha'tov et hashamayim v'ateit v'tzartecha v'hitel u'v'arich et kol ma'aseh yadecha v'chil b'tzai goyim rabim ata lo tilbeh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet achei olam v'tah b'divkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The next honor goes to Donna and to Audrey. Yamdu, David Tzviya, Bat Yaakov Dvar Kela, Ve'aviva Batya, Bat Yaakov Dvar Kela, Ve'alei Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Haftorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
U'tanaka Adonai l'rosh v'lo l'zana v'ito brak l'mala v'lo tikayeh l'mataki tishma al mitzvot Adonai l'hecha halata v'bracha asher anochi mitzaveh hayom lishmor v'la'aso v'lo tasor mikol l'dvarim asher anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom yamim smol la'lechet acharei elokim achirim la'adam v'haya ilo tishma b'kol Adonai l'hecha lishmor la'aso et mitzvotav v'likotav asher anochi mitzavecha hayom u'va'u alecha kol hakolot ha'ele v'yisivucha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'divkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The next honor goes to Stacy and Adam. Yamdu Shena Bat Be'er Heyo Be'rezel. Adam Ben Yaakov Dvar Kela Le'alei Torah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Aror atah ba'ir v'aror atah b'sadeh. Aror tanaka u'mishartecha. Aror privitnecha u'fri admatecha shigar alechecha v'ashret sonecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'divkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We want to thank everyone near and far for being here today, especially because you put us on your calendar not once, but twice due to Hurricane Irma. It means the world to us that you are here today. Brandon is extremely lucky to have you all in his life. Brandon, we couldn't be prouder of you than we are today. You've been preparing for this day for a long time, and even longer, thanks to Hurricane Irma. You are doing an incredible job of leading the congregation. In preparation for this day, you've entered a new stage of what it means to be Jewish. As a bar mitzvah, you are held in a higher status now because you are considered an adult. You have a greater obligation. You are considered your own person and can make your own moral judgments. In our eyes, you now have more responsibility to be the best person you can be to your community, family, and friends. You have come to really appreciate your Jewish identity. Once you started going to Judaic class on Tuesday nights, you immediately started enjoying Judaism that much more. You loved it so much that you never wanted to miss a night of Hebrew school, whether it be to study for a test or even for one of your swim meets. You even started going on retreats with Nifty and with the youth group here at CBI. You really enjoyed the Jewish bonding experience with new and old friends. Brandon, you have an open mind to try new things. You let new beginnings happen. Always leap into life with that attitude, and you will go far. The part we are most proud of is that you came home one day and said that you were looking forward to continuing on with your Jewish education after your bar mitzvah. You even communicated to us that you would like to be on the board of the youth group here at CBI. This just shows that you are embracing your Jewish identity and are very proud of it. You are also a madrachim, a volunteer on Tuesday nights with younger students. You help them study their Hebrew and enjoy doing it. How many 13-year-olds can say that? Not many. You also volunteer your time at Allegra, the senior facility. You taught the residents to play Wii and direct their bingo games. This couldn't relate better to your Torah portion, in which you spoke about the importance of being spiritual. You are that spiritual person. You enjoy making people happy, and in return, you have that feeling of fulfillment that we all want out of life. Just remember to always be true to yourself and think from your heart, and you will continue to soar. We know that you will make us proud, as well as yourself, as you enter this new stage of adulthood. Our wish for you is to continue contributing to the improvement of others' lives in meaningful ways. We look forward to seeing more of your accomplishments in the future. We love and adore you always. You are our dream come true. Shabbat Shalom.
And now, we'll call Brandon to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. Ya'amod Rachmi Elchanan ben Ada B'Shena HaBachura bar mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei ha'Torah.
Amen.
Aror atah b'goecha ve'aror atah b'tzitecha. Yishalach Adonai b'cha. Rat ha'mekra et ha'munah ve'et ha'migeret. V'chol mishlach yadcha asher ta'aseh. Ha'kishonecha ve'at advarha. Mahir mipnei romen alavavlecha asher asabtani. Yaveh Adonai b'cha et ha'tavir ad kolototecha me'al ha'adama asher atah b'shama v'mishpah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayeh yolam natan b'tofenu. Baruch atah Adonai notei ha'Torah.
Amen. Yom Tov Hadba V'Gililah. Let's all rise now for the lifting and dressing of the Torah scroll. Margaret, we're going to ask you to come back to lift. Rachel, we're going to ask you to come up here so you can dress the Torah for us this morning. Brandon, stand next to Mom and Dad. It's heavy on this side. I'm going to help you.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. מורשה קהילת יעקב, מורשה קהילת יעקב, מורשה קהילת יעקב, תורה ציווה לנו משה.
We're going to continue now, Brandon's going to continue now with the Haftorah for today from the book of Isaiah, the prophet, on page 16. Oh, please be seated. Sorry, I forgot. So the rabbis connected a Haftorah portion, a portion from the prophets, with every Torah portion. And they found some kind of connection. In this Haftorah from Isaiah, the rabbis look, and just as in the Torah portion, Brandon was reading not just only the blessings that would come upon our Israelite ancestors if they followed the laws, but the curses, the evil that would result if they didn't follow the law. And here, the prophet's message from Isaiah to the Israelite people are, arise, shine, for your light has gone, helping them realize that when they indeed look to follow the laws, the light dawns and goodness follows. So you can follow along on page 1614. Brandon begins first with the Haftorah blessings, and then a selection from the Haftorah, page 1614.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'yim tovim v'ratzah v'divrei hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai havocher b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo u'Yiviyeh ha'emet b'tzedek. Kumi ori kiva orei uvod Adonai alayach sarah kikinecha hoshech yechase eretz ve'arafel lumim ve'alayach yizrach Adonai uvodo alayach yera'eh ve'chalu goyim le'orei ulachim lenoga zarpeh si saviv einayach or'i Lam nikvetsu ba'ula, v'anayich miracho yabu, uvnotayich alsa te amana, az tir'it v'nachar t'fochad l'vaveh, ki hafeh elayach hamon yam, el goyim yabu'ula. Shifat gemalim techaseh, bichrei midyam ve'efah, Kulam mishvat yavo, zahav uvonach yisau, utilo Adonai yikaseru, kol tzom kedar yikat sulah, ele nevayot yishartune, ye'elu al ratzon mizbechi, uveit tifartit afaer, mi'ele ka'av ta'ufena, uchayonim ela rubotehem. Kilim yikabu, v'anayot tarshish barishona, lehavim v'anayich merahok, kaspam usavam itam, l'Hashem Adonai Elohayim, v'lidosh Yisrael kifa'ara, Uvanu, Nenetar, Homotayet, Umaltehem, Yushartunet, Ki, Vikitvi, Hikiti, Uvirtoni, Rikamti. Baruch, Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Sork Olamim, Sadik Biflo Hodorot, Ha'el Haneman, Ha'omer V'oseh, Hamadaver Unkayim, Shekol Devarav, Emet Vatzedek. Ne'eman, Atahu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'ne'emanim Devarecha, V'devar Echad V'devarecha, Achor Lo Yashuv Rekam, Ki El Melech Ne'eman, V'rakaman Atah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el Haneman V'chol Devarav.
Amen.
Raphaim, Atzion, Ki V'chayinu, V'la'alu V'nefesh Shviya V'nera V'yaminu, Baruch Atah Adonai, V'sameach Zion V'vanecha.
Amen.
Samkeinu Adonai Eloheinu V'Eliyahu Hanavi Abdecha U'malchut Beit David V'shitecha V'mhera Yavo V'yad El Libeinu Al Kizod Lo Yesher Zar V'lo Yichalu Od Achlirim Et Kodo Ki V'shem Kodshecha Nishbata Lo Shel Lo Yichbenei Ro Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Magen David.
Amen.
Al Haftorah V'al Ha'avodah V'al Hanviim V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu L'kedusha V'menucha L'kavod U'tifaret Al Hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim Lach U'mparkim Otah Yitbarak Shimcha L'fi Kol Hai Tamid Le'olam Va'ed
Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Sing it up with mazel tov, sing it up, sing it up, mazel tov, sing it up, sing it up, mazel tov, sing it up. Elanu, Elanu, Olo Yisrael, Elanu, Olo Yisrael. Sing it up, mazel tov, sing it up, sing it up, mazel tov, sing it up, sing it up, mazel tov, sing it up.
Zimmy Tov and Mazel Tov to Brandon on a beautiful and wonderful chanting of Torah and Haftorah this morning. Brandon, I'm just do you a favor, take your seat for a moment because we're going to celebrate some more in the congregation. It's my pleasure, it's my privilege to invite forward David Goldberg and his, David Goldberg and his fiancée, Joni Larry. We're going to be joined in marriage in just a week, and we're here to ask for God's blessing upon them on the occasion of their upcoming wedding. A lot of candy to navigate here. Hi, guys. Misha Berach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Leo Vivarech Et Hekatan Bet Hakala Yatzliach Et Darkam Asher Yakuba Behayom Behala. May God bless the men and women of Israel in every generation. The God who blessed Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless this bride and groom. Oh God, we pray, guide them on life's journey. May their marriage be a joy and good example to all who know them. May they fashion a beautiful home worthy of praise, a secure refuge where they find tranquility during all their days together. May the love that binds them be strong and lasting, and their hearts be filled with patience and understanding for one another. May their home be a small sanctuary built on devotion to God, to Israel, to our tradition. May they be blessed with health, courage, and good fortune, their love and friendship deepening throughout the years together. We pray that they might indeed find shalom, peace, fulfillment, wholeness together. And let us all say, Amen. Amen. Cantor.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'enu v'kivanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. Amen, 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 amen.
David and Joni. Mazel tov, everybody.
Mazel tov.
All right. And we're going to continue back. So now you can take the Torah books that you used and return them to the racks at the seats in front of you. Once again, if you'd be so kind, take out your prayer books. And we're going to turn to page 256 in the prayer books. We're going to rise as we return the Torah to the ark, and we are going to invite Eva, David, and Angela forward to open our ark doors for us. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki Niskaf, Shemo Levado. Let's praise the name of God, for God's name alone is exalted.
Hodu al eretz v'shamayim v'yaretz keret le'amo tequila le'ho hasidah le'vnei Yisrael am kirovu hallelujah hallelujah כי לכך טוב נתתי לכם תורתי אל תעזבו את חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותורך מאושר דרכך דרכנו בכל נתיבותיך Shalom, Hashivenu, Adonai, Elecha v'noshuva, Chadish, Chadish yameinu, Chadish yameinu, Yekada.
All right, so Mazel tov, Brandon. Okay. Go ahead, you can. Yay. Wonderful, wonderful job today. This was worth waiting for. Even though we had to wait 7 weeks, this was definitely worth waiting for. This was a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate this Shabbat. So, I have a couple of presentations for you. First, your certificate of Bar Mitzvah that said Rachmi El-Chanan ben Adam V'Shena, called to the Torah as a Bar Mitzvah, here in the presence of congregation B'nai Israel. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you, forsake it not. That's for you. Put it on the table there beside you. And it's my pleasure to call upon our dear friends and members of our Board of Trustees and our school board. I'm going to call upon Karen Marcus Handis. How they do? And Eric Handis. Shouldn't Eric be Eric Handis Marcus? If you're Karen Marcus Handis?
Everyone goes up and says, "Hi, Mr. Marcus."
Hi, Mr. Marcus. So I just know them as Karen and Eric. So you guys come up. Karen's going to present the sisterhood gift, and Eric will present the Board of Trustees gift, and they can come do it together, which they like doing things together. You can go first, Karen. Yeah. You know what's in there. Yes, that's okay.
I typically don't come up, but I asked for this special occasion. I wanted to be a part of it. As a member of the School for Living Judaism, I want to say that you are the ideal student for us, because you didn't just embrace your Judaism by going to Hebrew school. You wanted to continue along with my daughter for confirmation, and you did not hesitate. Your mom and I did not have to push you. to continue, and everything you do, you're involved with the youth group. You want to be on the board, like your mom has said, but you also get involved, and we just want more students to be like you. So you are ideal, and you're a role model to everyone. On a personal note, I want to say you're family. We do things as family, and I am very proud to see the young man that you've matured into. And Mazel Tov, you rocked it.
You didn't leave me much more to say. And thank you. Brandon, you were amazing today. And one of the things that always really impressed me about you, even before you're a man, so-called man today, getting there, but you've acted so mature, and you're so thankful and polite, and it really, knowing you for a long time, it really impressed your parents and you very well. Everybody here is so proud of you.
That's for you.
This is for you. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to present you with this Torah as you continue Jewish studies, and a long time, a long life of that. So we're very proud of you, and you rock. All right.
All right, so Brandon, yes. I so appreciate what both Karen and Eric have shared with you. And yeah, Brandon, we want all our kids to be like Brandon. Embrace your study of Judaism here at the synagogue. That's fabulous. In the very last verse of your Torah portion, chapter 29, verse 8, it says, "Ushmartem et divrei habrit hazot ve'asitem otam leman taskilu et kol asher tasu." What that means is, observe or keep faithfully all the terms of this covenant, that you may succeed in all that you undertake. Brandon, everyone wants to succeed in life. We all want success. In our personal lives, in our academic lives, in our professional lives, in our relationships and friendships, we all want success. We all want to succeed at those things. And how do we do that? Well, the Torah seems to give us a fairly easy answer, actually. Observe the terms of the covenant. In other words, keep the commandments, and you'll have success. That's what the Torah tells us. But it's more than that. And we perhaps find this more in the Hebrew word that we translate as success or succeed. That Hebrew word is taskilu. Perhaps you've heard, I don't know if Yiddish is filtering down to your generation anymore, but if I ask probably your grandparents and some of the older people that you volunteer with, everybody know the word seichel? Seichel. What does seichel mean? Common sense. Guess what? The root seichel, sachal, means wisdom, intelligence, and understanding and comprehension. Taskilu, seichel, skilu, sachal, comes from the same root. Success, Brandon, is most definitely tied to knowledge. Seichel, wisdom, intelligence, understanding, comprehension, it's knowledge. To succeed in life, one must learn what the commandments give us, what they impart to us. To succeed in life, one must have, and to have a higher purpose requires higher education. To succeed in our academic and professional lives, we need higher education. Likewise, to succeed as a human being, to succeed in our personal lives, we want to understand our place in the universe. We want to comprehend the purpose of our lives. We need to know, in order to succeed in all this, we need to know how to treat other human beings. This is what higher Jewish education provides us. It provides us the learning from Torah that informs us how to live meaningful lives. Lives filled with ethics and morality. Lives filled with holiness and spirituality. So, you've done very special. Today, you've been very special. So do your family, do your community and friends proud. Do this Jewish community proud. Do yourself proud. Now as a member of the responsible household of Israel, what we say is being a man, being an adult in Judaism, and throughout your life, continue to learn this covenant that Eric gave you this morning, that Torah book. All those lessons are in there, Brandon. Everything that you'll need to know in order to prosper, in order to succeed in life, and at all things in life, are contained in that book. You've studied, you've learned, you've shown your ability, and you've shown the desire to continue to learn, and that indeed is an admirable trait. So, on behalf of us here at Congregation B'nai Israel, Mazel Tov, Brandon. It's been a joy and a pleasure to share this very special day with you. And now, I'm going to ask you to join Cantor and I, and your folks, your sister, grandparents, and extended family, if you'd like to come up and be a part of this next the blessing we're going to ask upon him, God's blessing upon him. Come on up. Bring your prayer books.
My cousins.
Bring your prayer books. The cousins, and your Joe, Josh, Robert, Odin, Andrew, here. You don't need me to do it. And then when we're done, Rachel and Howard will open up the ark doors for the final prayer. So Brandon, come join Cantor and I right here in front of the ark. You stand on the side, Rachel, right here. Good. And we'll ask for God's blessing upon our bar mitzvah today. Get right behind him, man. Stacy, get right behind him. There you go. There you go. Brandon, you lower your head, and we're going to ask for God's blessing upon you. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God shine down upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift his face upon you and God grant you peace.
Amen.
Okay.
All right, everyone's going to stay here. We're going to pray Our Lady together. Rachel, you and Howard. Right? Howard? Where's Howard? Right here, Howard. You'd be so kind. You slide one door. Rachel, slide one door. Let me invite congregation.
If everyone would kindly rise, we'll turn to the bottom of 282, where we'll continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu shabbat l'adon ha'kol, l'teit g'dula li'otzeh b'reishit, shelo asanu k'divrei ha'ratzon, v'lo asamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo asanu chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol ha'monam, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי ממלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Oh, you please be seated? Yes. Okay. So, Brandon, again, Mazel Tov, congratulations. You did a beautiful job. And really, what I said, it was worth waiting for. It was wonderful. You chanted 7 aliyot, almost the full Haftorah, all the blessings, and you led us in prayer beautifully this morning. And as your mom said when she spoke to you at the Torah, when we all sat down together, and of course I asked about youth group, I asked about confirmation, I got very definitive yeses, very interested, we'll continue on, all those things. And those are choices I know that not only did you make independently, but come very highly informed and encouraged by Mom and Dad. And I thank Mom and Dad. Stacy, Adam, thank you very much for encouraging him along the path. It's a beautiful path. It's a path of Torah. It's a path of our tradition and our heritage. And our children don't walk it so readily if we don't encourage them and if we don't walk with them. And you both indeed walk with Brandon on the path of Torah and in all things in life. We acknowledge, as Brandon did in his Dvar Torah, his work at Allegro, and it's so nice to have all of the residents here today to come out and celebrate with Brandon on this wonderful occasion. To go to play bingo and just to share his presence in all things, it's wonderful. We're so happy and proud to have you all here today. And we are all so happy and proud, and we share a mazel tov to all the grandparents, to Doris, to Jack, to Marvin, and we remember on this very special occasion Rhoda, Brandon's grandmother of blessed memory, who's not with us physically, but whose spirit, I'm sure, must indeed be grinning ear to ear on this wonderful occasion here today. Brandon, additionally, you've chosen to remember Ben-Sion Lifter, born in 1940. He lived in Odessa in the Ukraine. That's where my grandfather was born. His mother's name, Fanya. His father's name was Yosef. And he died in the Shoah, in the Holocaust, at the Odessa ghetto in 1941. He was only 1 year old. And to do this in his memory helps us fulfill the imperative we have in Jewish life to never forget and to always remember. And you've made the memory of this one young boy, child, literally infant, alive for us today. So thank you for doing all that. And we look forward to celebrating many more simchas, including Rachel's bat mitzvah next in, what, just 3 years? 2 years? Same weekend. So everybody plan accordingly. September 7th, 2019. Was that? Yeah, oh yeah, book travel insurance. Yes, Candace got it. Book the travel insurance as well. Okay. All right. And immediately following the service, the family, we're going to make Kiddush and Motzi for you in here, and then you're invited to join the family at their reception down at VIP, and all others can join us here in the North Social Hall for Kiddush refreshments. But at this time, let's turn back in the prayer books to page 294. 294, Zichronam Livracha. Their memories for blessing. We would call now our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season, and those whose memories are with us, all those who died al Kiddush Hashem, for the sanctification of God's name. Currently, the 30-day period of Shloshim is being observed for Muriel Broad, Michael Richter, and Alice Weinstein. Yard sites at this season for Jane Abrams, Carl Apotheker, Ann Austin, Hyman Belkin, Jolly Banash, Harry Berger, Erwin Brandfine, Nathan Budwin, Yetta Cohn, Marie Felder, Marilyn Friedman, Samuel Friedman, Helen Fromm, Arthur Gelman, Mitchell Goldstein, Elsie Gottlieb, Myron Green, Werner Haas, Gus Herbert, Richard Herman, Eileen Horowitz, Bernice Jablin, Abraham J., Esther Kamenoff, Ann Kenner, Bruce Kingsley, Rhea Kogan, Marvin Lieberman, Julius Marks, Ruth Metzger, Esther Miller, Judith Paul, Lance Peller, Lester Rabin, Morris Rosen, Ernest Rosenthal, Alan Ross, Hyman Salas, Abraham Schwedelson, Stephen Singer, Hilda Stern, Brian Studley, David Tolchinsky, Gerald Walker, Joseph Wasik, Sophia Wiener, Stanley Wiener, and Ruth Barr. If we have mourners amongst us, those observing Shiva Shloshim or Yortzeit, I invite you to rise now at your seats, that we might comfort you with the words of our tradition, Hamakom Yinachem Etchem B'Tov Shavei Tzion Yerushalayim. May God comfort and sustain you among all who mourn in Zion and in Jerusalem. Together as a loving community, let's all rise now as we praise God, and we pray for the coming of God's kingdom, page 294, Kaddish, as we also remember Ben Zion Lichter. Yitkadal Yitkadash Merabah, Be'almad Divrah Hiruteh, Be'amlith Malchuteh, Be'chayechon Yomechon, U'chayeh Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav Yisman Karim Yimru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah V'barach Le'olam U'lomei Almighty. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitfa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei v'kudshav v'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace on high send peace and comfort to all who mourn and all who are bereaved. We say, Amen. Please be seated. Brandon, Rachel, Adam, Stacy, come join us over here. We'll make Kiddush and Motzi. You know, just until this past June, my wife and I, because I'm one of those people born before the 60s, moved into a 55-plus old people's community, retirement community, resort community, that's it, resort community, okay? But until then, these were my neighbors, just down the street. Brandon would ride his bike up and down the street, and Brandon and Rachel would come trick-or-treating over to the house. So I'm sorry that we're not neighbors anymore, but I'm equally more glad that you guys are here and so still involved with the synagogue, and that brings me a lot of joy. Brandon, you take this. Rachel, you take this. Yeah. Stacy and Adam. And we'll all join with Kendra if you want to follow along. It's on page 400 in the prayer book with the Kiddush prayer.
Vishamaru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam beini u'bein bnei Yisrael oti le'olam page 300 Vishamaru v'nei Yisrael
Berach Adonai Yom HaShabbat v'yikadshehu Tavirai nevarech Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen L'chaim. They're so cute. Aww. Okay. Got it? Good? Okay. Nice. All right. Good. You want to hang on to it? You want some more? Okay. Okay. All right. Brandon, you take that side with Cantor. Rachel, come help me, because I need your help. Grab a hold. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Yay! Share, take a piece, share with mom and dad. And Mazel Tov, everybody, and Shabbat Shalom. Oh, return the prayer book to the racks. If you borrow Thomas's out at the racks of the lobby doors. And family reception is that way. Everyone else, there's Kiddush in here in the North Social Hall. Go outside the doors and go around either to the right or left.